back to day number 8. We're actually going to go over day 18, sharing using Git. And essentially, sometimes you're not about jobs. You don't want to have them dependent on like a specific custom plugin. Sometimes you want to have an actual, one place that you can collaborate with your team or your organization, and it can be like a centralized location. This helps one, collaborate, two, roll back, as well as test. You can quickly swap between branches and have like a non-prod, a prod, and you can also have just your generic testing a branch just for testing purposes, and then revert it back to the default branch. So the only things you need to do for or to kind of get this started is the bare bones is to have I created this folder, job repo. I just have to have a folder jobs in it, and then my job itself, which is going to be the just generic job. And then I'm initializing it here, and I'm just registering the job within the init. That is all you need to do to kind of get this started. Um, so all you have to do is go into extensibility, Git repositories, and we're going to go ahead and add this repository. So we'll put GitHub repos, GitHub jobs, sorry. Remote URL is going to be the URL to your repo. The branch is going to be main. That's the branch that I have. This is where you can quickly swap it out to a tag, a commit, or just a generic branch if you're testing something. And in this case, it provides jobs. I'll create and sync. So what this does is that it actually goes to GitHub. It gets the last hash, the last commit. It refreshes the data for the GitHub jobs. It doesn't have any config schemas, so it kind of passes all that. Refreshing jobs, and this is said so here. Refresh job record for, and this is the job class path. GitHub repo jobs, GitHub job, GitHub job, which is the name of my file, the name of the class of this particular job. So now if I click on this, it'll take me to the actual job itself and what it does and the actual settings and properties and whatnot. And the job class is the class path is right there. And if I go into my jobs, we're going to see that it's right here, GitHub jobs. And obviously this is, disabled. I have to enable it and all that stuff. But now when you're working with somebody else, and let's say you assign this person to GitHub job 2.py. Let's say now this person is creating a second job, right? And they're doing GitHub job 2, 2 GitHub job, GitHub test job, or non-prod job. And this is my second job. And let's say this is all they had to do, right? All they have to do is write their job, go back to where you imported, in my case, from .github2 non-prod, do that, and I actually just have to do a change, which is git add, git commit, git push, clear that. And now when you go into your actual repo, I just go back to extensibility, GitHub repositories, and I just go sync. And it does the same thing again. In this case, it refreshed that job, and now it created a record. This is my second job. And if I go into jobs, you'll see the second job here. And that is the same thing as pretend, we're working on this and we have, complete different branch, and I say test branch. And this test branch has other code in it. So it's very simple for you to just go back to extensibility, go back to edit, change this to test branch. In this case, there's going to be no jobs and nothing here. So it does its thing, refresh job record, refresh job record. Oh, because I made the branch, but I still have the jobs. Let's say I go to GitHub repo and I'll check out from main third job. And let's say I completely copy this over. GitHub job 3.py, third job, non-prod 2, save it, go back to my Git from register all Git status, Git add, Git commit, Git push, and I push this entire new branch up to it. And now it makes it super simple to collaborate, because let's say I'm testing out some code and I'm not ready to merge it, right? I'm not ready to merge it to my actual main branch, but I just want to test this out just once, right? So I go in here and I refresh the jobs, and now I see my third job right there. I go back, I'm here, I edit it, I enable this, and I run it. 30, 60. My sensitive variables off. There we go. Now I run it. It does its thing, right? There's nothing in here. And once I'm done testing, I just go back to my repo, change this to main, update and sync, and making the job record as no longer installed. So when I go back to this, you'll see it's not going to be here anymore, but it doesn't necessarily delete it from memory. And that is something that you have to kind of know. So if I go to not installed, there's some here, right here. GitHub, this is my third job, not installed. And the reason why it stays here, if you go into actual job models, they actually keep um, the records of it, and it's all here in the notes. And when you even delete a job from the page, it doesn't get deleted per se. It keeps in a database. It just sets the installed blank to false. And this just allows it to exist for like job records and scheduled records. And it's just for audit purposes so that you know um, kind of when this job ran and you have like a trail of things. Can you? Yes. But I would recommend just to keep it. That way you have, audit trail. I can go back into this and see, the last time that it ran, right? This user ran, and I can see further information from it, depending on your permissions. But that is essentially the gist of jobs and having a repo. You can have multiple repositories. It doesn't have to just be one. You can have more than one, and you can have multiple jobs as well, and they all inherit it from each one, and the path comes from the actual name of it. And that's where you can kind of collaborate and import more jobs. But that's essentially the end of this video. Hope you enjoyed it.